the worse it's getting. We really need to talk about what's happening in North Carolina specifically. I don't know if this is happening in other areas. I've only heard about North Carolina. My mom lives in North Carolina. She's not too far away from what happened. She lost power for about 4 days, but like everything is fine. Their roads were fine. But there are areas where that's not the case. Right now in particular, Chimney Rock has been told that their entire town is federal property now. They can't even go back to their homes. There are bodies that are laying in the water. There are bodies that are laying under trees and in the debris, and they can't get to their family members. The federal government has said that that land and all of those bodies are now federal property. The federal government is not wanting to identify any of the bodies. They're just wanting to bulldoze over it and not even count how many people this natural disaster, if you want to call it that, has caused.
You heard that right. The land grab is in full swing, and the little town of Chimney Rock seems to be the very first casualty of this brutal attack. Now, for those of you who don't know, Chimney Rock is about 400 miles from where Hurricane Helene made landfall, and unfortunately, the little community of 140 Americans has been pretty much wiped out.
How long have you lived in Chimney Rock?
Born and raised.
And you said you're 32?
Yep.
Can you describe what this feels like?
At 7 o'clock, we went and checked the river, and it was just starting to hit the tops of the bridges. And when we got back to the firehouse and told the old chief that it was going to hit the bridges, because he was here in '96 when it flooded, and he looked at us like we were crazy.
And now it seems like the vultures are circling back in to divide the land just like they did in Maui. Interestingly, this city is situated in Rutherford County, and according to official records, the county already has multiple mining operations for tin, gold, copper, and rare earth elements. So I guess it's not really a surprise the town became a target. Now, they can obviously confiscate land through eminent domain, but it looks like there might be another way for them to steal your home if you're not careful.
Hey there. Ever thought about carrying a handgun for your family's safety? Let's face it, times are unpredictable, and we all want that peace of mind, right? I was in the dark about the process until I stumbled upon the USCCA. They offer California-specific concealed carry classes that teach you everything you need to know and make the process seamless. Here, take a look. All you have to do is click the link below, enter your zip code and email, and pick the nearest class to your house. Take the first step and join thousands of Californians who shifted from concerned to concealed.
All the kids are going to be given in, and they're all trying to buy it, but they're keeping it hush-hush.
At least according to this story.
I have a dire warning to those that are going to take the money. There is a contract at the beginning when the inspector gets there, before he starts inspecting. There's a contract that the claimant has to sign. Practically illegible. The writing is so small that 12 years ago I had to use a magnifying glass, and that's when my eyes were good. In that contract, if you do not pay the money back, it is a loan. A loan. And even if it's just $1 or $750, if you don't pay it back, they have the right to seize all of your property.
So basically, you might regret taking that $750, which isn't really going to be enough to help most folks anyway. This is sick if it turns out to be true, and I would really suggest you read the fine print before you end up signing anything. Now, according to some ex-users, they're already beginning to receive these forms from FEMA. I just hope these people do not end up getting scammed by the very people who are supposed to help them. But looking at what FEMA has been doing so far, I really don't have much hope. Just look at what they're doing in Tennessee.
Doing as much as I possibly can to raise funds for our community in this region. I've been helping people fix their houses up, get water out. This is so disgusting. So watch this. So I've been told this, again, countless times. I've been told this, and I said I need to verify this story before I post it and I report on this, because this is unbelievably disgusting. But what can we expect from our government? Nothing short of full corruption. So listen, Red Cross and FEMA/TEMA has arrived, and all donations that have been given to local high school volunteers have been confiscated. I have been told this directly. Here's a source. Starting with David Crockett High School, they're taking over all volunteer schools in Washington County and Greene County. That's only 3 or 2 counties of the other 7. So many more counties.
Confiscating donations from civilians seems to be the modus operandi in all the affected areas. Now, you might be wondering, What in the world are they doing with these donations? Well, it turns out they're using these resources to fulfill their primary role.
So I'm here in Boone, North Carolina. I'm at the staging area. I volunteered myself and my canines to come up and do some search and rescue efforts. FEMA is in the area, and we've been told that if we see any FEMA agents, like, hightail it and go. So obviously you see all my equipment. So we've been told to just turn around and go the opposite direction. And essentially what they're doing is they're taking these supplies to sanctuary areas for illegal migrants and giving it all to them. They are telling the locals here that they have no more money, that they can't give them any money, they can't do anything, but they are confiscating volunteer supplies as they come through, and they are giving it to people who are not legal within the country.
So basically, they're either hiding these much-needed donations or straight up handing them over to illegal immigrant shelters. Now, I'm sure some of you might be skeptical of her claim, but if this next clip is authentic, then apparently FEMA has been doing the same thing in Puerto Rico. So basically, giving donations to FEMA might be bad, and that's exactly what this local police department member is telling everyone.
Donate. Please donate what you can. Try to find a non-profit to donate to, a church, local PD. A lot of those are taking donations, sheriff's departments. I know my department is running a bunch of stuff to the western part of the state to help. Donate. But please do not donate to FEMA. They are hindering a lot of what people are trying to accomplish out in the western part of the state. FEMA doesn't understand that these Appalachian people are built differently. I'm very familiar with them. They are not going to stand by idly and have government officials tell them what to do. FEMA's playing a game of FAFO because free men don't ask for permission.
You see that? Freeman
Again, please donate and help these people out. They need us now more than ever.
And if you're one of the unlucky people whose lives have been ruined by this storm, and you're wondering why the government hasn't rushed to help you, well, this man might have some answers for you.
In 2023, FEMA has used about $740 million toward different cities and states to help with the migrant crisis. A migrant crisis that was created by the current administration. For those paying attention, it's not Trump. It's actually Biden and Harris. Even with that, there's about another $340 million that was left to be allocated in 2023. In 2024, FEMA has already allocated $770 million toward the same exact thing. This money allocation comes from what's called the Emergency Food and Shelter Program. It's a program that's actually designed for American citizens in the case of an emergency food or shelter crisis. During the crisis that happened in Palestine, Ohio, there was a whopping $0 that was given to American citizens during that crisis from FEMA. The wildfires that happened in Maui, those 7,000 residents got about $22 million in housing assistance and about another $30 million to rebuild, so a whopping $50 million to rebuild. In North Carolina, where we're seeing all the absolute destruction up there, we have about 13 different military bases that are at the command, including the 82nd Airborne. The 82nd Airborne also has the 18th Airborne, which is probably the most equipped unit to be able to handle these sorts of emergencies. In fact, it's basically why they were created. The Biden administration has been so absolutely bad at this that we're on day 6, and most of these communities in those areas aren't even touched. No one's even seen anybody from FEMA. The Biden-Harris administration has authorized a whopping $750 to help and assist people that are up in North Carolina. These people have no power, no internet, no way to even access the money because most of them don't even have access to a bank right now. It's another reminder that the federal government is not coming to save you. You need to save yourself. You need a plan for yourself, especially with this sort of incompetent administration that we have at hand. Most of the assistance that people are seeing that is actually heading up into the area is all coming from private citizens. People like, that evil Elon Musk that owns X. Elon Musk, along with Trump and others, have already activated his SpaceX program, Starlink, to actually help out those in need in those areas, and he's made it free to people in those areas. Just a reminder, the federal government was allocated about $47 billion to give internet access to people in rural areas. There's been a whopping 0 people that have been actually helped through that program. And if that hasn't pissed you off enough, it's about $6,000 per illegal immigrant that has come into this country.
Now, by this point, everyone knows how FEMA has been using hundreds of millions of dollars to help illegal immigrants.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Turns out that a book is more durable than